Hey guys, it's your boy Tosin back at it again. Unfortunately, not top of the table this week, so that name can't be used because City beat Leeds, but it is what it is. Arsenal got a fantastic victory, and there's three things I want to talk to you about today, and we're gonna get straight into it. Point number one we're gonna look at is the new post Newcastle talking points and my own personal post match thoughts from it. Number two on the agenda today is individual performances. Yes, I have an agenda. I'm leveling up in the world. I have like an iPad in front of me. And then number three is the spiritual issue, or point or topic that I wanted to quickly pick up on in terms of like lessons to be learned from the Arsenal match yesterday. So this was a sweet win. And the thing is interesting because speaking to a lot of Gooners, if you spoke to people who weren't Gooners, everyone was saying Arsenal were going to lose and kept using the yardstick of last season. You know how Arsenal were last season. Like people have been saying all season, last season they bottled it. Last season this, last season that, last season this, last season that. It was such a sweet win to, number one, shut the haters up. But the fact that Arsenal are only the third team to go to Newcastle since Eddie Howe took over and win was even sweeter. And to keep a clean sheet to boot, a clean sheet at St. James's Park, give me that. This is nicer than Mum's ayamache and white rice on Christmas Day. This is sweeter than, I don't know, like jerk chicken, Caribbean shop. This is sweeter than the bread, the fresh bread you get at a Turkish restaurant when you're super hungry and you get that fresh bread after you've ordered your meal and you dip it in tzatziki or chili sauce. This was sweet. Oh my goodness, this was sweet. Why was it sweet? Because we beat these... To be fair, let me not be disrespectful to Newcastle. Let me be humble. But I'm glad that we beat I'm just going to call them the Magpies. That's their nickname. I'm glad we beat Newcastle at their own game. We beat them. And I'm gonna expand more on what I mean by this. But if I actually look at the match itself, well, the first 7 minutes, naturally Newcastle came at us, full of energy, full of verve, playing good, attacked us. Ramsdale has to make a great save, and then of course they had that penalty shot, which was rightly overturned by VAR. Thank you for once. No, I'm joking. VAR is actually not too bad. There's some refs have made a lot of howlers, but by and large, I think VAR is good for the game. But other than that, probably the first 7 to 10 minutes, I thought Arsenal were good value for the 3 points. Newcastle had some chances. Willock had a good chance, but and I know Isak hit the post to start the second half, but we could have and should have been cruising by half. By half time. We should have been. Once we got the goal, Ødegaard, great goal, we had enough chances. I love the dummy that Ødegaard sold Botman. Should have scored when he hit it with his right foot. Martinelli, Ødegaard put him in. Should have scored. Saka as well. That's more of a difficult chance, but even there, a bit more composure. He just whacked it straight at Nick Pope. But Arsenal could have been 3-4 up. Newcastle had their chances as well. I'm not going to say they didn't. They didn't play badly. Arsenal were just better and were more streetwise than Newcastle, right? So it was great for us to get the win there, and it was also great just to see the way we did it. Now, what do I mean by the way we did it? We had perfect in-game management from our manager. Now, this is the thing I love about Mikel. And I've been saying it in previous episodes. He is a good coach. And also with the young team, they're a young team. So what does that mean? They're going to make mistakes. Arteta's also a young coach. So what does that mean? He's going to make mistakes. But because he's a good coach and this is a good team, he is going to learn. He's not going to be like other managers, I won't say their names, that just do the same thing over and over again and expecting something different to happen. That's called insanity. But I loved the in-game management from Arteta. What do I mean? He took off Zinchenko, and Zinchenko was not happy about it. It was a ruthless call to make, but guess what? It was the right call to make. He brought on KT a lot earlier than I would have expected him to. Why? Because he understood Zinchenko tends to gas out probably from the 60 to 70 from the 60th minute onwards, and he has huge defensive lapses like what he did against Chelsea. So I'm sorry, Zinny. I love you. You've been such an integral part to the good that's been seen from Arsenal. But I was not mad at you coming off. I was happy you came off. It was great management from Arteta. Also, great management from Arteta to pick Jorginho over Thomas Partey. Because everyone you think Newcastle, they say, oh yeah, they bullied Arsenal, steamrolled them last season. No. I think last season, I don't even think it was more physicality when Newcastle beat us last season 2-0. They legit outplayed us, like balled out. But it was also by and large down to us just freezing and getting drowned out by the noise and the occasion. Last season, the pressure got to us here at St. James's, but we just didn't play. So I wouldn't even say they physically dominated us. They literally balled out. Whereas this season, people have been talking about Newcastle's physicality, the way they slowed the game down, the dark arts, right? They tried to bully us straight up. They tried to do the nonsense they did at the Emirates, where with a bit more offensive thrust. What do I mean by that? In terms of they're just bullied, tried to be physical. And I loved the fact that Arteta, the easy thing to do, oh yeah, Thomas Partey has to play. You know, like it's physical. We're going to need the physicality in the middle of the park. We're going to need the legs. But I loved how ruthless Arteta was. Because the truth is, Partey's been amazing this season. And I still stand by the fact he's been the best defensive mid this season. He's allowed to have a bad couple run of games. He's been perfect for 90% of the season. So I'm not going to have any of this whole Rodri. Yeah, Rodri's been great. He's a good defensive mid, but Partey's been excellent this season. If he got picked for PFA Team of the Year, even whether or not Arsenal won it, you would not begrudge him that, because he's been amazing for Arsenal this season. And he's been a large part of all the good that Arsenal have done. But to drop him when he's out of form, to just send a message like, look, bro, you've been one of our best players, but you've been out of form for like the past 4 or 5 games, like just not playing well. So you need to be dropped. So I love that Arteta was ruthless, and then he brought on Partey at the right time in the match. So there was just so many positives I saw from Mikel Arteta as a coach. I just love the ruthlessness from him, right? And it was great to shut up everyone after all the nonsense that we got about what Newcastle did here to us last season. But again, what was sweet, that Arsenal slowed the game down just the way Newcastle did. We did it. You know, we did to Newcastle what they did to us at our ground, right? Because Newcastle cheating, slowing the game, Arsenal fans were throwing all sorts of accusations, cheats, because they were doing all sorts of nonsense, right? Slowing the game down, really like time wasting, all of that sort of stuff. Not really looking to win, just looking to stifle. Actually, no, that's unfair. Because Newcastle actually had some good chances and they could have and should have scored at the Emirates. So that's unfair. But they knew what they were doing. And I think what I loved about Arsenal is that our ability, what we did well was we mixed it up. Because don't get it twisted. Yeah, they were on us for 7 to 10 minutes. But Jorginho playing, I forgot to mention. Yeah, Jorginho playing, we played football. Like, they tried to bully us, but we were playing football. We played football. Like, that was it was so brave, because you could see there were certain points in the match, the press from Newcastle was super intense, but the coolness and the confidence and the calmness that's required to still play football in those situations from Arsenal, honestly, was top class. It was really, really good to see the way we progressed the ball forward. Even the Martinelli chance that we had when Ødegaard threads it through for him, right? How many passes were involved there from our half all the way to Newcastle's box? I thought it was really great. So I thought it was masterstroke from Arteta to play Jorginho. It highlighted, hey, we're coming here to play football. We're not trying to. We came to play football, and everyone said before the match, the way Arsenal will get joy is they need to play. They need to play football. They can't make this a chaotic, frenetic end to end. They need to calm the game down and play football. And I thought we did. From when we scored our from like minute 10 onwards, and then including our goal, and then after that we played football. We balled out, and on another day, we should have been going into halftime 3-0, maybe at best probably 3-0 or 4-1 up, and you wouldn't have begrudged us for having that. So it was really, really impressive from the boys. But I want to give props to Mikel Arteta. I really liked what I saw from him. And it was interesting to see Newcastle fans chanting cheat, 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 cheat for Arsenal. What about when you came to the Emirates? You weren't chanting cheat, cheat, cheat when your goalkeeper was wasting time. You weren't chanting cheat, cheat, cheat when your players were slowing the game down and killing the momentum of our counter-attacks every single time you had the opportunity to. You weren't saying that. And I got to give credit to Dan Burn, who was part of that. You know, his comments after the match, I don't know if you guys have heard it or read it, but go check it out. He was like, yeah, like, we can't complain. He said Newcastle... He basically said Newcastle, as a Newcastle player, he can't complain at seeing Arsenal be streetwise and slow the game down, which we did. You know, he said, "Hey, we can't do it." People said that we did this at their ground. Obviously, he's not going to fully admit that they did it. He was like, "Yeah, like people said we slowed the game down. I don't think that's our approach at all." But like, obviously, they did it. We did it. We did something similar to them at the Emirates. They did it to us. That's football. You can't complain. He essentially said, if you give it, you got to be prepared to take it, right? So I credit to you, Dan Burn. I appreciate you being fair and honest, right? So those are my thoughts from the match. Like, really, really good. I'm gonna get into individual play performances, but big talking points. Obviously, now people are trying to rev up title race. Now, I said last week, I personally think the title race is done. And you know what? I'm going to go back. I know I'm flip-flopping, but I just realized I was just lacking faith, you know, because City going on a run. I've still maintained Arsenal can win it, but I just was saying, personally, I don't see it happening. But I'm gonna throw my hat back into the ring. Title race is on. You know, I know I'm flip-flopping, but yeah, I'll be humble, be honest, like, yeah, I flip-flopped, I lost faith, but I'm getting that faith back. And it was interesting because this morning I was deep and I was like, okay, cool, why not? Even like, for me, I had no doubt that we were going to beat Newcastle. Like, I genuinely believed we were going to beat them. Even before the City game, I genuinely believed we beat Newcastle. Like, they're a good team. They've done well this season, but they're third and we're second for a reason. We're a better team than them. They played the way they played against us at the Emirates for a reason, because they know we're a better team than them. And if we go there and we play our football, there's only going to be one winner. And I'm glad that we did that. But the title race is back on. Because looking at the fixtures, right, I'm confident City and many others did not expect us to win. Confident of it. And what I liked is, even my Arsenal fans' biggest up, Gary Neville, he actually made a good point. He said, look, you know what? Arsenal have actually made it uncomfortable for City. Because I know City would have loved to have gone to Real Madrid knowing that they don't have to still keep giving like 100%. I'm sure City would have liked to have gone to Real Madrid knowing that, okay, cool, we don't have to be in first gear, or third or fourth gear when we come back from the Champions League. But now they're going to need to, you know. Now, Everton away, they've been terrible, but they're in a relegation scrap. They need the points. City are coming from a European away game. Why can't we dream? Why can't we dream of a slip up? You know, City have Madrid away, then Everton away, then Madrid at home, then Chelsea at home. They're gonna beat Chelsea. I'm sorry, I just can't see that happen. If Chelsea somehow get a result at the Etihad, wow, that means God is basic. Because I've been praying for Arsenal. I prayed for Arsenal to win the league. That means 100% God has answered my prayer. Like, there's no that with Lampard at the helm, it's an absolute miracle, an improbable miracle, an impossible miracle required for Chelsea to even get anything there. Can't see it. But if they do, then they got Brighton away, City that is, then Brentford away. So they end the season, Brighton away, Brentford away. Not easy games, you know. So it's the title race is on. It really is on, you know. And Arsenal have Brighton at home. That's a big game because Brighton are a good team. But just like with Newcastle, as good as they've been, as much as I respect Roberto De Zerbi, if it's a football match, and Brighton like to play football, if it's a football match, I personally think there's only going to be one winner, and it's going to be us, right? So Brighton at home, Forest away, that's going to be tough because they're fighting for points. But again, Arsenal honestly should go there and win. And Wolves at home. So the title race is on. Arsenal have applied some pressure to City. I genuinely think that Arsenal can win this title. Like, yeah, I know City are on a run, 10 games straight, but you never know. Us beating Newcastle has really, really thrown the cat amongst the pigeons. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in this next 2 weeks. It's going to be crucial. Now, in terms of individual performances, I've got 5-man list. Of course, the whole team played well, but there's a few players I want to highlight. Now, Aaron Ramsdale, number 1. And this is in no particular order. It's just the order I've written it down in. So Ramsdale doing what Ramsdale's done best this season. And my twin brother, yeah, you, tapping Tobes. Ramsdale's biggest hater. Say something. Say something about Ramsdale. Say something about him. West Ham, Liverpool away. I know he made the mistake against Southampton. It happens. You know, like he got a bit cocky, overconfident. Tottenham away, even. Now Newcastle away. This guy saves are legit keeping us points. Guy's been amazing. Now, is he England's number 1 at this moment? You'd have to think he is. Pickford's a good keeper, very similar to Ramsdale, actually, very good shot stopper. So, and it remains to be, but like Ramsdale is just really, really good keeper, honestly, really, and he has his clangers in him. But I think he's England's number 1 at the moment. The guy's been so good for Arsenal this season, and it was great. I was happy for him to get a clean sheet. He helped us a lot yesterday. Great saves, the one from the free kick, Willock's one. Really, really great saves he made yesterday. And he's been doing it all season. So shout out to Aaron Ramsdale. Played well, as usual. Georgina. Wow. If there was ever a game that suits Georgina, it's this. Where you get the ball, calm down, and you pass and you play. I think if we had Georgina, I think about the Southampton game. I think about the Southampton match when it was 3-3, right? It was frantic towards the end. Man, so especially I think about Thomas Partey taking that shot, that wayward shot. I know Jorginho did something similar against Villa, but his went in. But what I loved about Jorginho, he just got us playing football. Play football. And that's the thing, and that's the thing. Because a lot of people were saying, Arsenal, pressure this, pressure that. Oh, the pressure of the time. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. How can it be pressure if you're going to Anfield and balling out 2-0 up? How can it be pressure if you're going away to West Ham and outplaying them for pretty much the first half until a stupid goal to concede? How? How can that be pressure? Doesn't even make any sense. Probably Southampton pressure, yes. But Arsenal just stopped playing football. So it was so good to see Jorginho in a cauldron like St. James's Park. Us still going there and playing football. And a big part of that was Jorginho. Just get the ball. Metronome. Play football. So now it becomes difficult to drop. Do you drop him for Brighton? I don't think so. I think you keep him there and probably bring in Thomas Partey for Nottingham Forest. But Jorginho, well played to you. He played well. Granit Xhaka, number 3. Wow. Xhaka, honestly, he got stick for what he did against Anfield. But please, watch what Xhaka did yesterday. He was a leader on the pitch. I hope Arsenal fans caught what he did. When Odegaard went off and he took the captain's armband, did you see what Xhaka kept doing to the players? He kept gesturing to them to tell them to get the ball, hit it long into the corners of Newcastle's half. And you know what the team did? They did that. They obeyed him. They followed him. I loved what Xhaka did. Obviously, I said it after the Liverpool game. Xhaka, what he brings to the team, when it works, it can be used. But when it doesn't work, it really counts against us, like against Liverpool, which I don't really entirely blame on him. He didn't tell the team to stop playing football. We decided to. But still, I just loved what I saw from Xhaka. Leadership on the pitch. And being shrewd as well. He kept... Xhaka, I don't know if you deeped it. A couple of times he kept when he got contact, he would go down, right? He'd go down, and to be honest, I'm unapologetic about this. I'm gonna get to why. I'm unapologetic about what he did because it was done to us. Unapologetic, right? But what I loved about Xhaka is he helped us slow the game down. He was a big part of that. He helped us, you know. He was wise. He knew how to rile up the fans as well. Great job. So he played really well. It's not just in terms of his actual performance on the ball, because his past two, obviously against Chelsea, his performance on the ball was amazing. Those 2 assists. But I loved what I saw from Xhaka off the ball, you know. And then of course Martin Ødegaard. Wow. Number 4, Ødegaard. I was reading today, someone compared him to David Silva. And you know what? I'm not hitting that. Am I saying he's David Silva or he's better than that? No, I'm not. I'm saying in terms of his playing style. And it's actually similar. It's such a good shout. Because the thing about Ødegaard is that it was just the same as David Silva. When David Silva signed, you obviously knew there was a good player there, but you saw that there was a player struggling to really adapt to the physicality of the Premier League. And I think the game that did it for me, when David Silva started turning up, you could see, okay, this guy's turned the corner, was Blackpool away, where he turned up. Oh my goodness, he turned up. Balled out all over Blackpool. Back when they had Charlie Adam days and, you know, what is it, Ian, I've forgotten his last name, the crazy one. Ian Holloway, there we go. But Ødegaard has done the same. And why I say that I see similarities with David Silva, because he also struggled as well initially with the physicality of the Premier League, but you obviously saw quality there. But now I see this guy, man, cool, calm, collected. Several times this season, I've seen people try and bully him out of matches. They can't do it. Guy is so good. Not only he's on 15 goals from midfield this season. 15 goals. I believe I saw a stat. This is the first time Arsenal have had 2 players to get 15 plus Premier League goals in one season, which is kind of mad. That's actually kind of mad, you know. I would have thought that's not the case, but it's the first where both have got 15 or more. Because you think about Arsenal with Bergkamp, Perez, especially Perez. Perez was a goal scoring beast, you know, from the wing. You surely would have thought there would have been a season where him or Dennis would have at least plus Henry got on 15 plus, but that's mad. That's a mad stat. So it's testament to how good he's playing this season. But honestly, what I love most about Ødegaard is just the cool, calm, collected nature playing football. I spoke about it after the Southampton 3-3 when things weren't going well for Arsenal. What did he do? He got us playing, got that goal, and he just got us playing football. Right? And he did the same thing against Newcastle. Because it wasn't just his goals, it was the through balls. Pinging them, slicing through Newcastle. Through balls to Saka, through ball to Martinelli. Continuously probing, looking to find that pass. Really, really good player. Yeah, great player. And then lastly, for me, was he my man of the match? No. But his performances, Kivio. Jacob Kivio. Or Kiwi, as some rival fans are trying to bash him. Oh, Kiwi. Bruv, signed from Spezia. 20 years old. Playing in Syria. Bruv, signed in January, coming in to disrupt an already successful defensive partnership. But look at what he's done when given a chance to play. Against Chelsea, fair enough, Chelsea are pants, right? But still, for you to come in, not playing at the side you prefer, right? And still putting in the shift is a mad thing to me. The guy was great. Honestly, really, really good. Really, really good player. He played so well against Newcastle. And is it a coincidence? By the way, is it a coincidence that Arsenal look better defensively when he's come in? I don't think so. Now, this is no stick on Holden, who's not who actually hasn't been bad. Hasn't really been bad. But Kivio is obviously a good defender, and I'm glad that he got to show that. The guy relished the physical battle. He relished it. He looked so comfortable playing against Newcastle. Really, really great performance. And it's no coincidence that since he's come into the side, the flow of goals we've been conceding, in terms of coming into the side and starting next to Gabriel, the flow of goals we've been conceding has reduced. In 2 games, we conceded 1 goal. And that goal against Chelsea was just a silly goal to concede. Zinchenko switching off. But guy's been really good, so I'm not surprised. So those are the 5 individual performances I thought were really good. Now, in terms of what did I learn spiritually from Arsenal? Arsenal was shrewd this week. We were shrewd. That's what you call it. Shrewd. If you can't, if teams are going to do that to you and the Premier League ain't going to say nothing, hey, don't knock it. Go to St. James's Park and do it to them. It's called being shrewd. And it's called making the most of your resources, right? And when I think about shrewdness, it reminds me of a scripture. It actually came to mind in Luke chapter 16, verses 10 to 11, where basically the scripture says, whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. And whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much. And obviously this scripture, it comes from a parable in Luke 16, where a parable that Jesus was giving his disciples, where he basically says, he's got this parable and he's got 2 characters. It's got the master and it's got a steward. And the master basically goes on a long journey, right? And gives his possessions to his steward to take care of, right? And basically the steward ends up wasting the possessions, right? He ends up wasting his master's possessions, and his master's like, "Hey, I'm going to sack you. You've done a terrible job. You're not taking care of my possessions." And then the steward acts frantically. He gets shrewd. He makes deals. He starts being a wheeler dealer like Harry Redknapp, right? And then the master actually commends the steward. Now, what's this parable talking about? Well, the parable, what Jesus was actually trying to highlight is, in this parable, God is the master, right? And God has possessions that he gives to his steward. Who is stewards? You and me, human beings. So we are stewards. So we're stewards of possessions God has given us. And I'm not even just talking physical, your money, not just that stuff. I'm talking like who you are. Like, you were created. So everything that makes you you has been given to you. Your brain has been given to you. Your looks have been given to you. Your ideas, your dreams have been given to you. Everything's been given to you. It's not yours like intrinsically. It's been given to you, right? So if God is the master and he's given you, and he's made you the way he's made you, and he's given you everything that makes you you as his possessions for you to steward. A steward is someone who manages the affairs of someone else's household, right? You think about it, we are stewards. We're managers. We don't own anything. Everything that we have that we think is ours is actually not ours. It's been given to us by God for us to manage well. Now, the question you got to ask yourself is, are you being shrewd with what you've been given, or are you wasting it? Lots of people waste their lives today. Literally like waste their lives. You know, like I think, what is it? Three out of every 4 suicides in the UK are men, which is sad. And I want to do my best to change that with these types of videos. But lots of people waste their lives today. But what they don't realize is that they waste it because they think it's theirs. Not just physical lives, but even their ideas, their dreams, their desires. People waste that and do nothing. Don't work on it. People waste their livers by getting drunk all the time. Waste their brains by taking a bunch of drugs, you know, not realizing what this stuff is going to do. Waste their purity, their innocence by giving out their bodies to whoever, sleeping around, catching STDs. People are, I would say we're living in a time where people are wasting their possessions like no man's business every single day. And the question you got to ask yourself is, at the end of your life, just like this manager or steward who became shrewd, you will need to give an account for how you've used it. That's why the Bible says, whoever is faithful with little will be faithful with much. Whoever is not faithful, whoever is dishonest with little will be dishonest with much. And that's why the Bible says, if you can't even be trustworthy with handling the possessions God gives to you now, how are you going to take care of eternal riches? How are you going to take care of true riches? True riches are eternal riches. They're the riches that God's got in store for every one of us once we die, which is actually a possible. You are going to die. So, but the question you got to ask yourself is, when you die, are you going to be commended by God for the way you've lived your life? Or are you going to be told you've wasted it, and are you going to get rejected and, go to where everyone doesn't want to talk about, doesn't want to admit, doesn't even want to reckon and says it's not real, but everyone knows it because we know there's sin, we know there's evil, hell. You don't really want to go there, right? So now is the time to actually start thinking about how you can be shrewd with everything God has given you. Now's the time to start thinking about how you can make the most of taking care of the possessions you've been given by God. So I know that was a bit of a tangent, but it's a great point. I would really encourage you, check out that scripture, Luke chapter 16. It's the parable of the shrewd manager. And when I thought about Arsenal's performance today, I thought it was very shrewd. We made the most of the time we were given. We made the most of the resources we were given, right? So that's what led me to think about this parable. But if anything I'm saying has struck a nerve with you, then most likely you are wasting your possessions. Why continue doing that any longer? You can make a decision to change that right now. But you've got a big decision to make. Are you going to continue doing what you're doing and then being for a rude awakening when you die? Or are you going to take action and actually start making the most of the possessions that you've been given by the master? It's just a few things to think about, guys. But anywho, thank you so much for listening today. Really appreciate those who have subscribed. I appreciate those who continually share and like and comment. Thank you so much. I'm really looking to get to 1,000 subs. I want to get to 1,000 subs by, let's say, what's a good challenge? I want to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of, let's say, by the end of June. I would like to get to 1,000. Actually, no. Let me be faithful. By the end of May, I would like to get to 1,000 subs by the end of May. So please please share, and tell anyone who likes football and anyone who likes talking about faith as well. Definitely, please share this with them. Get them to listen to me. Support your boy. And also, guys, like I said, for the past 2 weeks, I'm going to drop my link into the charity fundraising I'm doing. Like I said, me and my wife are going to be doing a walk from London to Brighton. Please feel free to sponsor me. Thank you to those who've already given. I really appreciate it. My goal is 3,000. I'm 14% of the way there. If everyone who listens could even give £1 or £2, mate, I would make up what I need to by a lot. So thank you so much for listening, guys. Really appreciate that. Make sure to follow me on Instagram. I'm also releasing the TikTok as well. Make sure to follow that. I'm going to put the link to the socials in there as well, in the YouTube as well. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, and hopefully City crumble. Take care.